I'm Keith Olbermann, and this is The Resistance. Making America safe is my number one priority, began the message from the President of the United States, and the rest of that message naturally, one would presume, one would believe, one would pray, continued, and so I am declaring the United States territory of Puerto Rico an important part of this nation since 1917 and the wellspring of so much of our culture and industry and the joyous celebration of our lives, a federal disaster area of the highest magnitude after the nearly total impact there of Hurricane Maria. And I am immediately sending to Congress, this presumed presidential message would continue, an emergency relief bill that will get $1 billion in funds to this devastated island for relief efforts no later than Wednesday of this week, with more funds to come in the days and weeks to follow. Further, one would believe any president we have ever had would say, I am directing that all airline passenger vetting processes at airports there be waived and undertaken at the passenger destinations instead, so that American citizens in Puerto Rico, who have lost so much and suffered so greatly already, are not also forced to become prisoners there of the destruction of the computer systems and infrastructure there that would otherwise let them flee to safety. That is what a president would say. This Trump's message about making America safe is my number one priority continued, we will not admit those into our country we cannot safely vet. It was another meaningless travel ban that will protect no one, that will save no one, that will help no one. And even it was squeezed in passing amongst 13 hysterical, self-absorbed, lunatic, exploitative, nonsensical tweets about whether or not athletes are standing for the national anthem or protesting because their fellow Americans are at mortal risk because of the policies of this president. Not a word about Puerto Rico. Not a Trump trip. Not a Trump speech. Not a Trump tweet. Not a Trump self-absorbed reference to having played golf there. Nothing. Nothing. Not a tweet. While a population of 3,411,000 Americans bakes in oppressive heat without power, often without water, as the stores run out, as the hospitals run out, as everything runs out. 3,411,000 Americans in desperate danger, an entire island without electricity perhaps for months, and this tin pot dictator cannot be bothered to speak about them. A population of Americans larger than that in every American city except Los Angeles and New York. A population of Americans larger than those in the entire metropolitan areas of Denver and St. Louis and Pittsburgh and Cleveland, larger than those in the entire states of Iowa and Mississippi and Maine and 18 others, and Trump does nothing. In fact, he has done less than nothing. A Huffington Post Capitol Hill reporter tweeted Monday, Senior Hill aide says White House expected to send disaster aid requests to Congress in second week of October for Puerto Rico. That gets ball rolling. The first or second week of October to get the ball rolling. How many will be dead by then? Trump is doing nothing about Puerto Rico. And we do not have to guess why he does nothing, says nothing, ignores Americans who first were drowning and now will be dehydrating and starving. How did this monster's presidential campaign begin? With an assault, a verbal dismissal of Hispanics and Hispanic Americans, with a promise to build a wall to keep them out, and a promise to have a band of stormtroopers to throw them out. And if you think Donald Trump sees any difference between Mexican Hispanics and Puerto Rican Hispanics, you are living in a fool's paradise. He sees no difference in documented immigrants or undocumented immigrants or Mexican Americans or Puerto Rican Americans. He sees their skin color. And make no mistake about why he has been silent about them as their island collapses. Donald Trump is letting Puerto Rico, figuratively and literally, die. Resist. Remove. Peace.